Okay, in this project, we are going to learn how to put fonts into your games. The big idea here is I want you to be able to describe how to print words of different font types in your games. So, to get this to work, we're going to be using a helper library of Allegro. We're going to be using actually two. We've got font.h and ttf.h. Font.h sets Allegro to write words. ttf.h sets Allegro up to import cool fonts. You can actually get away with just font.h and use kind of a font that's built into Allegro, but I'm going to show you the whole bit today because most people want to actually import cool looking fonts. So you do need to turn these on in Properties, Allegro 5, and Add-ons. So if you open up Visual Studio, when you go into Properties, you're going to see a new window option called Allegro 5. Click on the add-ons, and you need to have any helper libraries you need to turn on here. So we're just turning on font and TTF at the moment. Later on, when you're making a full-blown game that has audio and images and all these other things, you'll probably see a lot more yeses than this. Okay. The helper libraries do need to be set up. So after you initialize Allegro itself, you need to then initialize those two helper libraries. It's really important that you initialize Allegro first, and then you initialize any of its helper libraries. Then we're going to set up some variables. Now, in the introductory Allegro code that I showed you guys in a previous video, we actually created the variable before setting up Allegro, and then loaded something into it later. What I did here, and it's really up to you which route you want to go, you can wait to create your Allegro variables until after you've initialized everything, and then load things up into them as you create them. So if you notice here I create the variable but I don't put anything in it because I can't run this function yet until after I actually initialize Allegro. Here, I've created them and put something in them right away. Also, you want to notice, see these things right here, hp.ttf and m.ttf? Just like last semester when we were playing sounds or other things, you need to have these things in the right folder. So, you need to find a font you like. You can download it from online or wherever, and you need to copy-paste it, or cut-paste it, here into this folder that you see when you click there, okay? I changed the names of these things because they were long and nasty and I'm lazy and I don't want to type all that stuff up. So I just right-clicked and went to rename. So I just changed it to HP instead of Harry Potter 65427Z, whatever it was. All right, so these two functions here actually load the fonts from your folder into the variables you set up for them. And you can also change the size right there too as they go. All right, create the game window, nothing new there. I still have my set window position and set window title. Those are optional. That's left over from the intro Allegro video. Now, I've actually labeled this as a render section. We've got enough stuff going on that you can actually start to think of this as a rudimentary render section of your game. So we're going to wipe the screen to a different color. I can't actually remember what this is. It looks like it's a little bit RGB, like on the purplish side maybe. And then we're going to draw two different words, one with the first font, the other with the second font. The first one looks like it's going to be white. The second one's going to be some kind of greenish color. This is the position. So right here I have 640 divided by 240 divided by 4. So that means it's going to be like half. This is my screen size here. So it's going to be halfway across and a quarter of the way across. This one's going to be center aligned and it's going to say potato. This one is going to be more on the green side. It'll be 20 pixels over, 50 pixels down, aligned to the left, and it'll say carrot. Don't forget your flip display because these just load into memory. This is actually what draws to the screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So we've got carrot in this kind of graffiti type font and potato in our Harry Potter font. Cool. All right, so I do want to take a second to show you guys how to display variables. Like right now you can display any words you want, but what if you want to display something that changes, like a score or a timer? So give me 1 second to put that code in there. Okay, I'm back. I've put in this extra function here, another draw text, but notice it's now draw text F. Okay, it's really similar to the draw text function. The only difference is that you've got this extra parameter at the end. So it starts off with what font you're using, what color you want it to be, the position you have it, what kind of alignment you want, and then you say then in quotes you put what you want. This %D here is not going to print %D to the screen. It's going to print whatever variable follows it in after the comma, and you can actually print out multiple variables by having multiple %Ds and multiple commas there. So by the way, obviously you need to, if you're talking about variables, you do need to set those up somewhere at the top of your game. So I added this variable int score. Later on, if this was a real game, that would be changed somehow probably. So let's go ahead and run it. Now if you notice here, this is looking kind of funky, and the reason why you see these two rectangles here is because the Harry Potter font that I downloaded doesn't actually have numbers in it. You do need to worry about that kind of thing if you're going to be using your font to print out scores or timers or whatever. So I'm going to change this over to font 2 because that graffiti font I have does have numbers in it, and it should actually show up this time. Yep, so you can actually see the number 40 there. And if this was an actual game with a game clock and a game loop and the score was changing, you would actually see this change on the fly. And you'll see that happening hopefully later on when you actually start making games like Pong and Breakout and so forth. Great. All right, so hopefully at this point you're pretty comfortable writing programs with fonts. Your assignment for this project is to create a program that displays 3 different fonts in different positions and colors. At least one of them should display the contents of a variable. Post a screenshot of this to your blog, and then in your blog please explain the steps for using fonts in your Allegro programs. All right, best of luck. Let me know if you need some help.